welcome everybody to Grow Mastermind Group. We're a group of entrepreneurs here to encourage other entrepreneurs to fulfill, unleash their potential. We are going every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA New York time, live. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and you can go to our website, www.growmastermindgroup.com, and you can find more information about what we have ongoing all the time, and as well to our WhatsApp chat. Tonight we're going to have the pleasure to have Miss Whitney Ortiz. She's a certified stress relief and personal empowerment coach, and she's going to talk tonight about how to go from stress to strength and how to 10x our potential. This being said, I will not waste one more moment and give to you Miss Whitney Ortiz.
Oh, thank you, Peter. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of you. And I recognize that we have all chosen to come to this moment for the choices that we've made and for a purpose that may be beyond what we fully know in this moment. And we all arrive here after many months and this past week and on this particular day in which many of us have experienced significant turmoil, suffering, loss, or pain, stress. And I'm really grateful that you all decided to be here. I'm grateful for the present of your presence. And I invite the fullness of your presence so that we can deeply connect to where you are in this moment and who you will become from this moment. So I thought we could just start by all just taking a deep breath. Take another one if you want. The breath is the thing that connects our minds to our bodies, and it will presence us and connect us here together. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what we will be covering here. We're going to be talking about some...
I was saying working.
Oh, there's some background noise. I'm going to share with you a whole way how you can move from stress and your darkest moments to strength, which 10x's your full potential so that you can experience greater clarity and definiteness of purpose, connection to infinite possibilities, heightened productivity, deeper inner peace, and a more expansive sense of well-being that will fuel your business, your relationships, your physical, mental, spiritual, financial, and emotional health, and your engagement with your community. It is a state of self-mastery that gives you strength to move through stress-inducing moments and express your whole capacity in the world in a way that maintains your optimal whole health and whole self. It is you, fully whole, an integrated being made of energy who is fully aware of its connection to the whole. So I'll make the connection how this whole way directly impacts your business and share how you can quickly refocus and shift if you find yourself falling back into stress or drifting. So since the journey of growth and transformation is not always a linear one, you will have moments, as you likely know, where you're tested. And it's important to have tools in your toolbox that you can immediately pull out and use when you're triggered or pulled into that dark place of fear from which stems stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, all the things that can really eat away at you, keep you small, hold you back. So you're here in this group of amazing entrepreneurs to 10x your capacity, your impact, your life. So if you haven't already, please put into the chat from where you're joining us, as we have many countries here, many people from different backgrounds all coming together to be together in this moment. And that's really special. So take a moment to presence yourself, by identifying yourself in the chat, and perhaps also mentioning the industry or the sector that you're in. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm here with you from Washington, DC, and I arrived to this moment and this group as an entrepreneur who founded a business and a nonprofit to help others feel better and to be able to shine their lights brighter in the world. So how did I get to this moment, this group? And how do I know this to be my definiteness of purpose, my definite purpose in this world? Well, I was always a hard worker, always pushing myself to get good grades, do lots of extracurricular activities, sports, always learning more. And this way of being continued into my professional life. I worked in the government, at a private sector consulting firm, within a nonprofit, within an international organization, and within a social enterprise. You know, always working, always on, always pushing myself, always curious about how the sectors really work together, how people from various backgrounds came together to work together or not. And looking back, I see more clearly now that it was all about how various parts fit together into the whole. So I was overall thinking I had full control, working hard, doing more, taking greater action, very much in my mind, lots of energy of to-do lists, strategies, plans. I could see it all in front of me. I just did this and I did this. With my colleagues, we would know action, action, action. Well, in 2011, I got married, and in 2012, we had twin girls. One day when my girls were 3 months old, I put them down for a nap, and I was at home at the end of my official maternity leave, and I went back to a table near them to do some work, and something told me to look up. I saw that my daughter Eliana's chest was breathing, really heaving. And I ran over and looked at her myself in shock and realized that she was unresponsive. We rushed her to the hospital and found out that she was in heart failure. After many tests, putting her on oxygen, we had to move by ambulance from that hospital to another one that had more life-saving machines. And the doctors didn't know if she would even make it across town. So I cannot tell you the stress of sitting in the front seat of that ambulance and that whole experience. Fast forward through the years to come, Ellie had multiple open heart surgeries, including to have a heart transplant at 18 months old, living for the majority of her time in the cardiac intensive care unit or the heart and kidney unit, me being with her 24/7, while my other daughter, her twin sister, Amelia, was at home with a nanny that we hadn't planned on having to have. I was trying my best to be with both of them when I could, and also trying to keep my work going from Ellie's bedside, and my husband trying to keep his new business going so we'd have food and shelter, insurance. The stress that I saw Ellie experience repeatedly, the stress our other daughter, Amelia, experienced in another way, the stress my husband and I experienced, the drains on our emotional, mental, physical, financial, and spiritual health were constant. I would often wonder why and how a whole health approach to care within our Western medical system wasn't the norm. Why the whole health of the child and the family unit aren't fully cared for in an integrated way and through an integrative whole health approach. On March 28, 2016, Ellie passed away. I knew in that moment, and I know so fully now in this moment, that she is always with me. Alongside my other daughter and my husband, it is my life purpose to help others feel better and to really know the value of their being and to express that light into the world to help others and make this world a better place. This has become my definiteness of purpose, as Napoleon Hill says in his writings. I founded a nonprofit called Eliana's Light in 2017, which supports families with children who have complex medical conditions by focusing on their whole health and well-being. And it is through all of these experiences and by pulling from various philosophies and scientific and mathematical understandings that the whole way lens became clear to me. And it was with this lens that I created my social enterprise, Whole Health Self-Care, and how I support and empower leaders in moving from their experiences of deep stress to strength that enables you to put forth your whole self in the world to be of service to others through your work, your relationships, your contributions, your being, your presence. So now let's get into what is the whole way. I consider this as a toric lens. If anyone else here has astigmatism, you may know what a toric lens is. It's how we experience life, our gifts, our presence. And it's both a progression and a lens. It's the both and, in the sense of there is no duality. You're seeing life through this lens, you're being this way, and you're moving forward on this journey all at the same time. So toric lenses are used to correct astigmatism. When the light or input comes into the cornea of an eye, which is shaped like a football, unlike a regular cornea, which is round, and thus it is out of shape, out of sorts. The light or input struggles to come to a single focal point on the retina, which results in blurred vision. The toric lens helps you focus in that moment and see the long distance in front of you. So with life, we receive various input, various circumstances that can cause us to have blurred vision. Blurred vision from stress, to not have a clear definiteness of purpose. When we can see our purpose clearly, we can then work towards it. So the whole way is that toric lens. It helps us gain that clarity first so we can see our purpose, we can focus on it, and we can see the distance with the mindset to imagine our desired future and work towards it with the whole of our being. And then be able to recognize from there with greater clarity the whole. Step forward into that vision, embody our future self in a way that we can experience it with fulfillment, well-being, and connection. It is how we can 10x our potential from this moment. So the whole way is grounded in whole health and has various markers or signposts, check-in points, references along its path. So we'll walk now down the whole way together. And the first step is well-being. The W in whole stands for well-being. Your sense of well-being comes from your mindset, what you feed your mindset, and what you do with your mindset to experience your life through your body, mind, and spirit. Creating and innovating comes from a growth mindset, as you all likely know from being in this group. Thus, it is absolutely paramount that you feed your mindset the positive thoughts and support your whole health. To use the toric lens when circumstances cause your vision to blur and you find yourself experiencing stress or fear, anxiety, or overwhelm. This leads us to the H of whole. The H stands for health and happiness. So this lens makes you focus and refocus on the health of your mind, body, and spirit. And it's not only mindset. Sometimes in business, we get very focused on our mindset and lead with our minds only, like very much in our heads, right? And especially in times of business or economic crisis. So we have to recognize our minds as the receiving, the processing, the giving of messages. And we have to think about how our mind connects with or supports, or receives support from the other components of the whole. Your positive purpose, nutrition, uplifting relationships, helpful contributions to your community, a peace-invoking home environment, and stress relief practices together propel you into well-being and happiness from having created and embodied your full potential. So let's get more into the granular of it. Why is it that we need to manage really our stress? and feed our bodies, minds, and spirits with nourishment. What does stress actually do to the body? In short, stress causes inflammation, which is the root of most disease, or dis-ease. And it reduces the effectiveness of the immune system. So you're not strong enough to fight off COVID, for example. As epigenetics has proven, our genetic expression can change based on our environment and how we take care of ourselves. So if you think about it, you're not totally tied to the genes that you've inherited. In short, you do have influence based on the decisions that you make. Stress also takes a toll on the success of businesses. The American Psychological Association estimates that the US economy loses more than $500 billion due to workplace stress. And today's business owners are under more stress than ever due to the pandemic, the economy, evolving regulations, natural disasters, complex relationships at home, at work. You're with a lot. And at times, you can be fully immersed into the stress and that it starts eating into you. So you need to get out of it, on top of it, and then eliminate it. So how do you do that? Let's focus on your physical health, starting with what you're taking in. You have to feed your body, your physical body, the nourishing foods, and refrain from ingesting the toxins, the alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and inflammation-promoting foods, such as highly processed foods, those that contain chemical additives, added sugars, and oxidized fats. Instead, focus on taking in high-quality, nutrient-dense, whole plant-based foods that are rich in healthy fats and phytonutrients, which come from multicolored vegetables and fruits. These are so important for decreasing overall inflammation. If you can afford to see an integrative physician, functional medicine specialist, or naturopath, or osteopath, or other type of physician who looks at the whole of you in a personalized way, I highly recommend it. It can be so helpful for putting the control of your health more into your hands when you actually can then know if you're deficient in certain nutrients, or whether you have a food sensitivity or allergy, which can change as you age, where your cortisol levels are, and whether you need to increase exercise or do other things to take better care of your physical health. Supporting your physical health also means being aware of your exposure to millimeter waves through 5G technology, microwaves, and other potentially harmful influences from your environment. You can remove your cell phone and other electronics from your bedroom, for example, when sleeping. Reduce or end your use of the microwave, or consider putting back in wired technology, wired internet, or instead of using wireless. So many different ways that you can take care of yourself. And these can also help you improve your sleep. Sleeplessness is so common right now across the board. And sometimes when we're trying to 10x our full potentials, we minimize the importance of sleeping. I hear so many people say, oh, I only need 3 to 4 hours and I'm up and I'm taking action and I'm accomplishing, I'm doing this and that. Until what point though? I connect with so many people when they're crashing. And your body and your mind need sleep. There are multiple studies that show the importance of sleep, and getting proper sleep can really be key to propelling you forward. So it has to be on the to-do list and have to take actions to really improve the quality of your sleep if it isn't that great right now. It's part of being really good to yourself, really kind, compassionate with yourself. And this helps lead to the happiness, the ability to have happy moments in general hard times, and not trying to be the perfectionist always. Happiness is truly tied to spiritual health. I'm talking about religion, but spirituality. Do you all have a daily practice, daily rituals like meditation or gratitude practices that connect you to your highest self, your inner wisdom, your infinite potential? If you want to put a yes or no in the chat, or just reflect on it yourself. Some people say it helps them to ground and regain balance, and others say it helps them to get to a higher place from which they can source their greatest ideas. I'll share with you a couple of gratitude practices that can hopefully help when you need to reconnect to gratitude or feel grateful in the hardest of moments. So before you get out of bed every morning, and when you put your feet on the floor, think of 3 statements that are going to power your day using the powerful words, I am. Like, I am a powerful creator. I am a caring business person. I am productive. Come up with the phrases that work best for you. And those are the auto suggestions, those positive affirmations that anchor in the experience of who you are and the fulfillment of what it is you're creating. In your day, another example is to take a quiet moment alone to center yourself, ideally outside in nature, and go through each of your senses. Think of 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. This puts you mindfully into your exact moment, and it can relieve stress and center yourself into yourself. So in a hard time, number 3 is stop yourself if you find yourself saying, why me? Why me? Instead, think, what am I supposed to learn from and do with this? How is this making me who I'm supposed to be? The darkest time is when we learn who we really are. Consider how you're perceived as your whole health, your whole self. How do you want to be known in your whole self, to yourself? How do you want to be known to yourself? Reflect for a moment on how you focus today on empowering your whole health, body, mind, and spirit. If you did great, awesome. If you could have done better, we always have space to learn and grow and do better for ourselves. Is this a moment to use the toric whole way lens to refocus? Because we all need to use it sometimes. So as you move forward on the whole way, you'll have greater capacity to experience moments of happiness with deep learning, reflection, and growing, even during and after hardship. And this capacity depends on your inner state of being, your whole health. You will be able to find more joy in the small moments and intentionally surround yourself with happiness catalysts. And happiness can ignite desire, and desire can attract inspiration, which pushes us to be better and more expansive, more joyful, which then spurs more happiness. Like the toroidal shape, we can delight, be of the light, and be from the light in this unfolding. So this leads us to the next signpost along the whole way, which is O, observant and omnipresent. We need to be and stay fully observant of our thoughts, words, emotions, actions, interactions, needs, desires, in order to shift our behaviors, dynamics, relationships, beliefs, habits. You will have greater capacity to detach from your circumstances, to acknowledge them and then respond, not react, to them with a great knowing of the being and the outcome that you truly want for yourself, your life's purpose, and the others who you care about. So be observant of others, how they're responding. Sense into their energy. We'll get more into this when we get into the E of whole. As quantum mechanics has proven, the observer has an effect on the form energy takes. Physicists have found that even passive observation of quantum phenomena can change a measured result, a form of energy. And this is known as the observer effect. So become that detached observer with self-discipline, and know and respect each one is on his or her own journey, and that you don't need to force a way, nor should you, nor really can you, but be very observant of what's inside you and how that flows out and resonates with others and the conditions that you can create with it. So in regards to being omnipresent, it means you are fully present to the whole of yourself and how you presence yourself in relationships, your business, and your community. How present can you be with a high quality of presence in multiple locations? And this brings us to the next signpost, leadership, L. You fully recognize you are a leader of your life, and it is not up to anyone else but you. Are you going to lead yourself with kindness and compassion? Will you have kindness and compassion for yourself as you lead others? And once you're moving along the whole way, you will be more observant and always focused on fueling your whole health. You will truly know your value, your worth in this world. And to be able to experience that self-worth and that feeling of being valuable is when we align our actions with our own deepest values and make these manifest in our beingness, relationships, and accomplishments. So I invite you to think for a moment about this question. What are 3 inspired new actions that you can take today and every day through next week that will express your valuing of yourself, that will make the greatest difference to you and your work during that same week? How can you express more of your unique essence in your profession, demeanor, home, creative pursuits, your purpose next week, and in the weeks to come? From then, with a whole cup of wholeness, you will have the capacity to lead at work and at home with kindness and compassion. You will be embodying your greatest potential and serving as an example of what you want your employees and colleagues and partners to show and to be as well. You can shift the culture of a business, an organization, a system, when you plant knowings and practices and ways of thinking and acting into the very unconsciousness of the business, the organization, or the system. And by repeated action and suggestion, just like within ourselves, changes in behavior and beliefs and actions take place across the whole. So you start with yourself on your whole health, mind, body, and spirit, to have a deeper well of inner strength, heightened decision-making ability, and efficient productivity that your whole health fuels. And when you come together with your colleagues or partners, and each one is maximizing her, his, or their whole health, new creativity, productivity, and innovation are more likely to happen. One of the goals of a mastermind group. So this gets us to our last signpost within the whole way, which runs through everything, and that's E, energy. The energy we hold within and give out influences our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health and well-being, our happiness, and our ability to lead, and our relationships, our work. As you know, everything is made of energy, and there's no separation between anything. Thus, you always need to be observant of the quality of the energy that's moving through you and that you're giving out, and that's being given out by others you associate with. So this is why it's really important to surround yourself with uplifting, positive, and successful people, because their energy can affect your energy and vice versa. So when you're in the whole way, you will know how to manipulate your energy to show up as you really want to in your life, regardless of your circumstances, and live your life by expressing who you truly are. You can relax into that knowing. You need positive energy to be able to know your value, to have the motivation to create, to source your power from the brightest future you're creating, to have the confidence to step fully into the fullest of your potential, embody it, experience it with gratitude, and show up in the world with it. You will leave obscurity, no longer play small. You will take up space and you will take that massive action that Grant Cardone talks about. Stress, doubt, fear, they will only dim, dilute, and destroy the energy you need to experience the whole way and live by the 10X rule. So set your mind is set, and to always be aware, observant of the nature of the energy that you're creating and giving out. For if you desire to be worthy, it has caused you to sacrifice any deeper values you hold, or to not do self-care, to not express care through your relationships, it will show in the way you communicate your messages. And your messages may not be received. They may be blocked. So your energy quality matters as much or more than the messages sometimes. So tuning into the energy of another person in a meeting. Do they want you to speak fast? Do they want you to speak powerfully, use bold physical moves, or will they receive you more if you're speaking slowly with a relaxed demeanor? And really be observant and adjust your energy accordingly. And this pertains directly to sales. So I invite you to consider this question. How can you express through your power center certain transferable, transpersonal qualities that are magnetic and engaging with a particular person who you have in mind right now, whether a client, a colleague, a partner, which support your management and sales in the weeks and months to come? How can you express through that power center? And how can you shift a culture within your business with your employees to have a workplace culture that recognizes the importance of reducing stress, to maximize productivity from happy, healthy, and fulfilled workers who have entrepreneurial and positive mindsets and who operate from the fullest of their capabilities and capacities? As the saying goes, what you appreciate appreciates. And so focus always on your thoughts and observations, leadership and energy, and what will most serve you and others. So really learn how you can manipulate that energy to turn stress into strength. I used this process to get the energy I needed to create Eliana's Light, to have the courage, take the massive action, to share it out in the world and to serve many. We're now helping families cover the cost of rent, appropriate food, and utilities bills. I talk with parents from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night on the phone to be with them, to accompany them, to hold space for them, to lean in with them during right now one of their darkest times. And the whole way has become crystallized through my personal experiences and those of others I've experienced through the nonprofit as I continue with it. And the whole way led to the creation of Whole Health Self-Care, which is a social enterprise I mentioned I founded, through which I offer the stress relief, well-being, and personal empowerment coaching and mentorship, along with self-care packages and the Whole Health series. This Whole Health series is an interview-based series that highlights, amplifies, and lifts up leaders who are creating the more equitable, just systems and structures and organizations and businesses that lift up and support others. Positive self-mastery comes from whole health self-care, and you're in control of so much related to your capacity to create, to lead, to fulfill your potential. So taking this back to the toric lens and the toroidal shape of the whole way, consider your desire to fully actualize your potential from a place of strength. Think of it as this toroidal shape where you merge and emerge, refocusing when you need to in order to 10x your capabilities. And as you step into the beingness that is your whole way, you will create the future that you're manifesting and catapult your process of growth and transformation. So as you move along your whole way, continue to refocus as necessary while you're creating the meaningful relationships, nourishing your physical body, your mind, your emotional and spiritual health, and creating the positive habits, beliefs, behaviors. Thus, it's creating a field along your path, along your whole way, that supports the fulfillment of your desires. And possibilities will be ever emerging and growing and blooming within this field, and your whole potential will be called forth. you can step into it and become your future self. So in conclusion, this whole way is a way to see your existence, experience it, and optimize it so that you can 10x your potential and move at any time from stress to strength. You can stop fear, supplant it with faith, step into and become your full potential the whole way as you 10x your life. If you'd like personalized support, accompaniment, and accountability on your journey through this growth and transformational process, please feel free to email me at whitney@wholehealthselfcare.com, and we can arrange a free 30-minute call during which we'll talk about your current situation, discuss some stress relieving strategies that are relevant for you, and explore whether one of the one-on-one coaching and mentorship programs I offer will be the right fit for you at this time. I'll put up a slide that has my contact information, including a link to donate if you feel inclined to support any families with children who have complex medical conditions and need help right now to cover the cost of food, rent, and utilities. If you feel you can make a positive difference in this area, 100% of all donations go to these families. So I greatly appreciate your engagement, your presence. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Let's see. We had the remark from Tracy. She was asking about if you can repeat about the 3 inspire actions that we have inside of what she said about the 3 inspired actions. That was the question that we had there.
Like things that you can do over your next week.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you're, okay, sure. So when you're thinking about going into this time right now, leaving this particular moment and moving forward, think of 3 inspired new actions that you can take today and every day through next week that will express your valuing of yourself, that will make the greatest difference to you and to your work during that same week. And another one is, how can you express more of your unique essence in your profession, your demeanor, your home, your creative pursuits, your purpose next week, and then in the weeks that follow? Because it's from that wholeness that you'll have greater capacity to lead at work and at home with greater kindness and compassion.
Tracy, I hope that you answer that for the question we had. Until somewhere else is anybody else has more questions. Until then, I have a question that I would like you to see, like kind of, what will be if it's any ritual that you get into this state of the whole that you mentioned, if it's any ritual that you are creating when you're trying to put like the steps into that stage, like ABC to get to that stage of the whole.
It is constant positive intention. It's constantly having to be aware, doing all of the things to support your whole health, being in that observant state, and sometimes having to put on the lens again and saying, okay, I'm feeling off. I just ate really badly because I was emotional, I was stressed, I haven't been sleeping well, so I just ate a bunch of chips or got takeout or whatever else that wasn't actually really nourishing you, right? You say, okay, I recognize that. That just happened. Now I'm just gonna put on my lenses. I'm gonna go forward. And so you can constantly shift, refocus, and then know the next time, and be kind to yourself in the process. And I personally love to have quotes around, using the I am statements, the gratitude practices, the meditation. And I find that each thing fuels the other. So if I'm eating better, I'm sleeping better. If I'm taking more of the positive statements in, I have a better mindset to tackle a challenge. Or if somebody appears and approaches me in a certain way, then okay, how am I going to respond and not react? Or a challenge comes up. So each part, it's that process, definitely a process. I think we're always going to be in that process of learning, of growing. I don't think any of us is ever done.
So the way that it is, like, you kind of, like, because I'm trying to kind of understand your way of getting to this stage, and because for me, like, when I realize that I'm in stress, the first thing I'm doing, I'm acknowledge it. I'm saying, okay, I'm in that stage. I need to take measurements. So once I'm in that stage, then I know that, you know, like, because one of the biggest mistake I know that it's out there is that to say, no, I'm not stressed, like denying yourself that idea that you are in that stage. But once you know that you're there and you acknowledge the situation, like, depends on whatever I have the stress about, you know, I always try to feel like if it's something that it is mentally, you know, I was trying to figure out what is something that I can do to shift that thing, to kind of something that it is like physically, like in the meaning that is something that outside me can happen, and I need to find a solution, like power is out, yeah, I need a solution. Well, instead for me to stress over it, I'm just gonna call everybody I know and say, hey, how we can solve this one, what is going to be the solution. So in that way, I'm kind of converting the stress in a solution right away, instead for me to bear with me the stress. So,
yeah, you're using one of the strategies of being resourceful, right? You're talking about calling upon any potential resources that you may have to support you in that moment. And that pertains to whether the lights go out or whether there's crisis at work. Like, what are my resources? Who can I call on? What can I call on to be able to address? And then there's others in terms of just being in a moment of stress, depending on who you are as a person. If you are highly active, highly moving, physical type person where stress gets into your body really easily, then it's recommended to do something like fast walking or running or something that's using both sides of the body that really just get it out, that work it out. Others are better at writing, like having a journal, carrying it along with them if they are going out and about, because if they have a moment by themselves in the car, for example, they just need to like write it out. It just helps them move it out. And then before bed, having it by the bedside. So before going to bed, just downloading onto a piece of paper and putting it away, and then you can sleep better. Or first thing in the morning after you've had some dreams that you've remembered, they could be informing you, they could be giving you some kind of insight, writing it down. Quiet music. Certain people really respond better if they learn more by listening. Typically, the music is very helpful. If you're more of a visual person, maybe it'd be looking at the flame of a candle and just watching the flame and focusing on it. It can help to quiet the chatter in your mind. Other people really like to have like a water feature by their bed. You can get a small fountain, like $10 in the US anyway, and you can hear the sound of water, or a white noise machine, something that might be available in different locations, something similar like that, just the sound of water or nature. And just being in nature, however is possible based on where you're located and your situation, the time of just being among trees and really focusing on a leaf, for example. In the north now, we have a lot of colored leaves that are beautiful. And if you just focus on them and really pay attention and look at the colors and how the lines are formed, and it's like being in a state of awe, and really putting yourself into that, experiencing awe, can help you get out of stress pretty quickly. And it's with practice. Everything is practice.
we have a Christian that has some questions and remarks.
I think you kind of, well, it's been a great presentation, so I really enjoy it. you kind of answered my first question, was how do you channel your stress into a positive feeling, you know, like a different state of mind?
Yeah, it is again to the point of the positive attention. For example, when you're in your darkest moment, like everything just seems to be overwhelming and anxiety provoking and stress provoking. Like, how can you even think right of like, how do I get out of this? How do I move myself on top of it? And like, so you find something small, you focus on something that you can be grateful for. And you look around yourself. Did you have anything to eat? I had food, I had something, like I'm grateful for that. And then you continue. It becomes then, and the breath. The in and the out of the breath is a reminder that there is always this expansion and contraction in life. It's a rhythm. Sometimes there are moments of great expansion and then it goes back to contraction and then it goes back. So if you learn more different breathing techniques, there is one in yoga, for example, where you put your tongue, if anyone's heard of this or knows this already from practicing yoga or anything, if you are breathing in through your nose and then you breathe out through your nose, but with your tongue at the roof of your mouth in the back, and you make a sound like, and you do that rhythmically, it will stimulate the vagus nerve, which is connected into your brain, and that can reduce your stress levels. And various organizations, including in the US military, use what's called box breathing. And many meditation practices use this as well. So it is, you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it for 4 counts, you breathe it out like for 4 counts, hold at the bottom for 4 counts, back in. And so you continue with that box breathing. There are variations on it. So you could breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 6, hold for 2, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and back. So based on your own lung capacity and what feels right, it's the sweet spot of 4 seconds to 6 seconds that scientifically has been proven about the impact on your brain and stress.
Excellent.
So I find even the little things in the middle of a day where it's just like stress inducing, I just like, so it's just like, sometimes you just kind of like, they don't realize that potential too.
Yeah, I should try this more often.
Hopefully,
No, thank you.
I'm not gonna scare anybody doing that method, you know, like talking on the phone with somebody and start to breathe like that, you know, like, oh, this guy is saying something.
Or, you know, you're holding the stress ball, the thing that you can squeeze while you're on the phone, and you're intentionally moving your back down, you're releasing anything, and just like using your mind to almost play games with yourself of like, okay, I'm moving my shoulders, but you're on the phone and you're sounding clear and you're trying to be observant of how your voice is while you're moving your body, you're holding your stress ball. So it's those little things. You're going to find what's right for you because everybody's different. So
one of the call centers that I used to go, they had like this, it was like a small plush toy, you know, like one of those fluffy toy, like a bear, you know, one of those stuffed toys. And every time you ask somebody, you see like you go to that stuffed toy, you take that toy and of course, yeah, it was kind of weird, you know. Sometimes, you know, you just feel like, you know, that poor bear is suffering for everybody, hurtfulness, but yeah.
Yeah, better to take it out on a stuffed animal or a pillow. Sometimes you have to physically say that.
Whitney, can I ask you a more personal question?
Of course, of course.
You've been through some very difficult challenges and experience in the last few years. Well, where did you find the strength to stay positive, you know, and find that calm state of mind that you're projecting when you're talking about your past experience, especially, you know, when unfortunately you're talking about your daughter and her passing, and I know it sometimes might be a hard thing to say, but sometimes it just comes like really easy and normal. How did you find that, you know, just kind of overcome the pain and, you know, find that calmness and to discuss about it? I know it's not easy. So if you don't mind sharing that, that would be great.
Oh, sure. Generally, it is this whole way. It is that I had to be very intentional, very observant, very focused on putting forth my best self. I needed to be there for my other daughter, my husband. We needed to continue as a family. And I knew that my daughter, Eliana, wanted me to be in my whole self. And it's from love. And it's with all the work that we all do, and even in your own businesses and your daily lives, know that you have to sometimes really get up when you don't want to, put one step in front of the other when you don't want to. You have to have that belief in yourself that it's there, that strength is there, and you just have to like pull it out. And so if you're feeding your body right, you're really getting some kind of exercise, you're feeding your mind with positive thoughts, positive people, reading the books or listening to the audio, whatever it is, and whoever it is that's going to like help you, give you that fuel to continue along the whole way. But it's got to be thinking about all of those components together, because you are one full being. One piece of you is going to affect the other pieces of you. And so the whole.
Just put them together.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Great. We have also a question from Michelangelo. Let me see here.
Hello, Whitney. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I just wonder if you had any thoughts on, motivation. What can someone do to help you stay motivated and get you through hard times?
Sure. For me, I look at people who inspire me. I can find a million stories of those who have come through such hardship and have gone on to do something really positive to help others. Those inspire me, motivate me. The families, for example, that I'm supporting, working with through the nonprofit, they inspire me every day. The kids inspire me every day. My daughters inspire me every day, my husband, my friends. I look for inspiration. I intentionally seek it out to know in that fullness that there is so much goodness that can help us, fuel us. And it takes sometimes that just looking for it. And then it will motivate us, keep us going, while at the same time we're doing all the things to support our whole health, ensuring like who's influencing you, what energy are you giving out, food are you eating with drink, what exercise, all of it, mindfulness, meditation, practices that really work for you, so that it is all together helping to fuel you, to have the motivation, to do the hard work, to really move forward along your way. I hope that's helpful.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. No, I appreciate it.
And I actually love quotes. I think I mentioned this briefly, but I literally put around my house, my walls, some inspiring quotes. And the more I just look at them again and again, it's like meaning. We all look for meaning. So I feel like that is another practice that's easy, free, and just can help with motivation.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Can you tell me which person would you say that would actually influence you the most in your life? Who was the most influential person in your life?
My daughters, for sure. My greatest teachers. No doubt.
Great. Thank you.
Jose has also a question. Is this a record? I think he asked about something else. Every Sunday, yeah. So anyhow, if anybody has a question, if not, I have one more question, and so that some new people join in. Sebastian, well, we are almost to the end, but Sebastian, if you have any question, feel free to ask. One of the things that I was kind of always it's kind of everybody has like, oh yeah, like I had a lot of debates, even with my wife, about this idea about what is the first and most important thing, is the discipline or the positive thinking or core values on everybody else. And I just want to kind of bring it up, like here, and to see your point of view, because at the end of the day, my vision, everything that you do, even the whole way, must have a sequence, must have like some base of everything that you do.
Staying true to your values, right, as your core of who you are, really knowing who you are. And it could be, again, right now is a very hard time for many when they're forced to look at who they are, what they can do from here, now where, and maintaining the core values and the goodness and treating others kindly, treating yourself kindly, and staying in the mindset. I find that it is so fluid. There's nothing that is static. It is like energy. Everything is of energy. Nothing ever is stopped. It's always moving. So that can also give hope, right? In certain moments, we might need to call upon, okay, what's in my mindset right now? Other moments are like, oh yeah, I've got a great mindset, but I just drank a 12 pack and I just had a bunch of chips. I'm just like, you're going to crash. So it's just like, depends on what moment that you're in, what to call upon, while always staying true. Don't, lose those fundamental values, the things that are core to your being. And might take putting on those lenses sometime if you find yourself floating, drifting, as Napoleon Hill also says, right?
Yes.
You got to refocus who you really are.
Would you consider that which one is going to be the basic of everything we do in life? Because I know whole life, it can be like your way of seeing the things and drifting away to refocusing and put yourself on the track. But it has to be some kind of guideline that you follow to get there. Because for me, for instance, without discipline, in my way, I don't see anywhere to do it. No matter what you're doing, even if you want to have a positive thinking, you have to train your brain to react in certain way with a certain pattern to be able to switch from, I would say, a negative mindset to a positive mindset, and to keep it always like having that focus of, listen, I know it's bad, but I have to find out the goodness in this thing. And that's a trained mindset. As a trained mindset means discipline. So in your vision, what would you consider that is going to be the base of the base of the base? Would you consider that same as discipline, or you have a different, I would say, point of view, or I would say sequence that you use?
Well, I would ask, what keeps you alive? What beats your heart? And so if the core of you, and you have connection to who you are, that will fuel your mindset. And that will help you to stay on the path that you know to be true for you and for your family. So while, yes, there is this intentional thing, it's not always just first and foremost mindset. We often get really, as I mentioned, and kind of stuck in our heads, stuck in our minds. But the mind is also beyond the brain, right? It is external and all. But to remember what is the core of survival, safety, of existence, of moving. So just constantly reconnect into yourself and know who you are. And that will fuel your mindset, who you have to go to listen to get that inspiration, get that motivation, how you're going to operate, how you're going to interact with others, how you're going to show up.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a tweaked process that you have, but in the same time, it's going on the kind of on the same direction of your beliefs.
Like the infinity symbol, like anything, there's a flow. We're all one. We're all
connected to somehow.
And you just have to call upon one or the other, and they're all together.
Inside of the chat, your information for people to have it in that way. And I'm going to ask you also to send it to me as a DM for the chat. So I'm going to be able to put it in the video. So in that way, we're going to make sure that we're going to have everything there. So I mean, just
Sure. Yeah, I just shared the screen again, and my email is whitney@wholehealthselfcare.com.
perfect.
If it's helpful, I can also put it in the chat, but hopefully right here is helpful.
Okay, so good. Whole self-care. So you don't have like a personal, because I was trying to tag you, but I couldn't find it. I'm like, doesn't have it. But anyhow, it's good. On Instagram, I was
No,
looking.
it's that whole health self-care right
Yeah.
there at the bottom.
I'm like, okay, she maybe she doesn't have it.
I do.
I didn't thought about that, but I'm gonna put the next. I'm gonna put actually the Instagram live streaming that we're doing right now. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna tag you there.
Oh, great. Thank you.
That way we're gonna have it there. Perfect. We have here also the email. So if anybody wants to connect with her on Instagram, everywhere else, please feel free to do so. And we're gonna make sure that everybody's gonna be connected here from tonight. And we're gonna make usually what I like to do, and this was taught by me by an Instagram guru, to say like that. Everybody that was on the call, we're gonna tag them to make sure that people they're gonna follow us in the same thing. So everybody's gonna follow each other. That's an interesting way. But thank you very much for all the kind words and all the knowledge that you put out there for us. And I'm pretty sure once we're gonna post it on YouTube, everybody's gonna go there. That from the groups that we have, and hopefully we're gonna work more together. We're gonna find
Thank
out.
you so much. I'm really so grateful for this opportunity to be here with you all and to see you, some of you faces and names, and I'll just be thinking of you in the days, weeks, and months to come, just holding and hoping, wishing you all the best always.
Please do, and please be active inside of the WhatsApp chat. Or most of us, we're gonna be there, and every time we can help each other to be there for each other. That's the
Yes,
most.
indeed. Thank you.
To help each other to grow. So if anybody is stressed and you need some help, Winnie is gonna be there for you.
Mhm.
If Winnie is gonna need something, you better be there.
I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good rest of your days and nights.
Wonderful. Bye. Thank you.